I was always looking for what motivated me and challenged me. Then I realized early on my journey what my passion really was. But what I didn't know was that I was slowly building the foundation of what my purpose really is. It's interesting, like my journey into beer. Beer for me became more of a social front because of the camaraderie aspect of it, not necessarily the general flavor profile. It was more so for me that I got to go hang out with my older brother. And this is kind of what bridged our gap into being not just brothers, but actually becoming really good friends.
Me and Marcus, we both got into brewing from our love of craft beer. We started brewing together, which quickly turned into competition. Me and Marcus were competing against each other. Who could make the best beer? Who could do better? Who could do this? Who could do that? Who could make the best IPA?
Culturally, beer's never really been introduced within the Black community. For us, we dove into beer, right? We dove into the culture of it. We learned about it. We actually got into the education of beer. It was something for us to engulf ourselves into. In 2013, Annie Johnson had won Home Brewer of the Year. To see a Black woman reach the pinnacle of home brewing and do it from a city of where I grew up, that hyped me up. And they look just like me. Like, this is the first time that it's been done. You don't hear about too many Black people in the brewing industry. You don't hear about too many Black people homebrewing. And that motivated me. It propelled me even further to want to kind of dive further into the deeper culture of what brewing was. Sometimes I miss operating like on the brew floor and kind of that just general element of being here in my zone by myself, listening to music type of stuff. I don't get to do that too often anymore. Brewing a Belgian quad.
Oddly enough, I grew up not drinking beer until I discovered craft beer. I'd invested in a local brewery, and that's where I met Marcus. I noticed, though, he kept bringing me beers that he'd made at home to try, and I loved every single one of them. They were actually better than I could buy in the store, generally, and it was pretty impressive. Eventually, he asked me when we're going to start a brewery. I just said, I've been waiting for you to ask. And so immediately we started making plans, and we opened in November of 2016.
Fermentation is going good on this one. Yeah, you could. This one is going well. We've always been about the betterment of San Antonio. I've just wanted to contribute to the culture of what San Antonio beer is. For me, I generally gravitate towards more the traditional styles of beer. You couldn't find stylistically some of the things that were becoming more exciting within the beer scene, some of the things that were prevalent in some of the other parts of the country. We were able to hit a niche within this community that wasn't available at the time, right? And so that helped kind of propel our name further within the city, have people excited about the stuff that we were making and creating, kind of helped definitely propel us within locally in the scene and being able to grow in a lot of different accounts.
We begin tonight with the latest on the COVID-19 outbreak. The virus, which originated in Wuhan, China, has now spread to more than 200 countries and territories around the world. According to the latest figures from the World Health Organization, there are now more than 200.
So prior to COVID, the brewery was doing well. We were getting ready for a craft beer conference, which is going to be in San Antonio. And we were super excited, ramping up all production, landing these huge parties with different companies that people were coming into town. And we were really like, this is going to be huge for us.
I remember January of 2020, we felt so good about 2020. We thought 2020 is going to be our year, and we were going to do this, this, and this, and we're going to get over the hump.
We hire a brand new brewer. You know, me and my brewer are planning for increasing production. Things are going amazing at the time. And then you hear the news that things are starting to shut down. And you had to change the whole foundation of your business, because if you don't, then you're not gonna make it. You're gonna end up failing. And what was amazing again was the local community wanting to support us and wanting to support other breweries within the communities, because they didn't want to see them fail. And so the first few months were amazing as far as customers coming out, supporting. But then that second shutdown happened and we had to change things again. It hurt us. COVID, the pandemic, definitely hurt us as a brand.
Demonstrations have erupted in cities across the United States as people demand justice for the killing of George Floyd, a black man who died while in police custody in Minneapolis. Thousands of protesters have taken to the streets, clashing with police. Similar scenes have unfolded in cities across the country, including Los Angeles, New York, Chicago, and Atlanta. Protesters are calling for an end to...
We've become so numb to this violence all over. You see on the news, people get killed. There's a shooting at a school. There's a shooting at a store. We've become so numb to just violence in general.
You look at all of the aspects of what's going on and you feel like there's no winning, there's no succeeding, like you're stuck in a bubble. The moment that got me to do something was actually, I was on my way to Dallas and I was listening to The Breakfast Club. And The Breakfast Club had on Breonna Taylor's mom. And she went into the course of actions of her finding out that her daughter was murdered. And that course of conversation brought me to tears. And you start thinking like, man, you know, what if that happened to you and your family had to deal with that? What if years later that happened to your daughters, or whatever the case may be? And it hurt. But really, I was more so angered and furious. What could I do in the space that I have, right? You know, I just make beer for a living and I'm in a predominantly Caucasian industry. And so what can I do? And I thought about it and I was like, Black is beautiful. And I was like, you know, that's perfect because one, it was part of a civil rights movement decades ago, but two, it's a blanket statement. It's right there in your face and it tells you exactly what it is. You don't have to explain it. You don't have to sit there and give a definition to it. It's telling you what it is. It's Black is beautiful. And so I had to figure out a way that it could be something that people looked forward to wanting to contribute to, but then understanding that we're at this point to where this thing is necessary, right? We should never even have to reach a point where we have to create something called Black is beautiful, right? And I was gonna pick a local charity and donate some money locally, you know, because we've always been a very local centric brewery. It got taken obviously a step up.
Coming out of COVID, our friends at Other Half Brewing in New York had done a international collaboration called All Together that was designed to raise money for service industry folks who had lost their jobs during COVID. It wasn't that much later that, you know, George Floyd was murdered, and I was talking to Marcus about, he mentioned something that he was going to do, and that was brew a beer called Black is Beautiful and donate all the proceeds to civil rights causes. And I suggested to him that, you know, this is too important of a beer to just involve one brewery. And so I suggested that kind of in the mold of the Altogether collaboration, that he make Black is Beautiful a multinational collab. And of course, that's exactly what he did.
And I remember Marcus reaching out to me, and he's like, I'm thinking of something to do. He has really good ideas. I didn't know what he was thinking about doing. Then he showed it to me before he presented it, and I was like, man, this is amazing. I got like chills.
So Black is Beautiful is medium viscosity, so medium mouthfeel, heavy roast character, heavy chocolate, a medium dark chocolate aspect, but it's something that is very enjoyable as a imperial stout, medium in the ABV at a little less than 10%, but something that you could take sweet adjuncts or take anything and create a well-rounded stout within out of the recipe.
I would say from the moment that we launched the Black is Beautiful initiative, life became a blur. It was a flood of breweries wanting to help.
Within the first 48 hours, we had over 300 people already commit to wanting to participate in the Black is Beautiful initiative. And so when I presented this to the brewing community, now it gave them that avenue to want to speak about it, to want to give back and different things like that. And I definitely think that's why it grew to the level that it did. I wanted breweries to donate locally. And the reason behind donating locally was to give back to their communities, one, but now you guys are engaging and learning about a community that normally you're not in tune with, because now you've shown yourself an ally to our community. And that was the biggest aspect of it. And so when I felt that I'm asking all of these breweries to donate locally, I felt like I had to do the same. One of the programs that I was in as a youth was called the OK program. It was one of those programs where it keep you out of trouble. This was put on by local law enforcement, local Black law enforcement. And it was their way of giving back to the Black community. And so the 100 Black Men in San Antonio resonated with me because it was familiar. You know, they gave back to Black youth. They gave back to these young individuals who were troubled and now had the opportunity to change and grow as a person. And so for them to want to give back to that young local youth, I felt that was important. And so that's who we chose as our beneficiary.
My name is Ivory Freeman. I am the president of the 100 Black Men of San Antonio. So our mission is to be an example, a role model for youth within the community. Our motto is what they see is what they'll be. We focus on economic empowerment, education, health and wellness, and leadership development. Developing the youth between the ages of 8 and 18, which is our primary target area. It's about engaging with the students. It's about providing that positive role model for these students so that they can see within themselves that they have the ability to be successful. As we went through the COVID process, the timing with Black is Beautiful was phenomenal. For Marcus to have the insight and the vision to say, hey, look, this is something that can make a difference in the community with a formidable organization was incredible. We greatly appreciate that opportunity to be partnered with the Weathered Souls Brewery. We've been able to use those funds to go into our general account to support ongoing activities within the schools, within the community. Those funds are still being utilized today. The opportunity for 501c3 to have such a great contribution such as this from the Black is Beautiful program is phenomenal. Without a doubt, it's been a catalyst for success for the 100 here in San Antonio.
Well, craft beer on social media is somewhat of a small community. And I remember the first time I saw it, it was Marcus Baskerville from Weathered Souls. He shared a social media post that he was starting a new initiative, and there was a sense of what can we do to help? To be given a path from Weathered Souls, Marcus and everyone else to say, here's one way you can help. And we knew it was a clear path and directive to be able to do some good. The only thing we had to do was make a beer. And our customers believed in the mission, and our community believed in the mission, and they bought the beer. We would fill as many crowlers as we could throughout the week, and by the weekend, they were gone. So people wanted as much of it as they could get, and it was partly because the beer was good. It was partly because of that, but also partly because people really wanted to buy the beer and support the cause. We were able to raise $8,500 from the beer, and then we rounded up and donated $10,000 to a local cause that we really believed in. I think it was maybe when we lived in Minneapolis that we had started to hear about the Humanize My Hoodie campaign, and we started to see Humanize My Hoodie sweatshirts being worn around. The sweatshirt is so big, it says Humanize My Hoodie, huge across the chest, and you can't help but say, what is that? What is Humanize My Hoodie? It resonated. Their organization, what they want to do, the change they want to do really resonated with us to say, that's something hopefully we can help and be an ally for.
Humanize My Hoodie is a social justice movement that stands out against threat perception when Black and Indigenous people wear hoodies. Because we get unfair treatment when we wear hoodies to the extent of where we might even lose our lives. For Humanize My Hoodie, we're in a stage where it's education, but then it's also apparel. So we use the money in a number of different ways from an initiative standpoint. It actually helped catapult us to the next level of where we were in our company and help us have even more of an amplifier when it came to our movement. I believe the Black is Beautiful initiative, by giving back and being able to show people that, hey, we can use products to help raise the profile of other businesses that are maybe underrepresented, I think it's phenomenal.
Community, by and large, was very supportive. It raised about $25,000 for the NAACP Legal Defense Fund, and the Austin Justice Coalition. We've subsequently done it 2 years in a row now, and then 2022 will be our third year doing the collaboration. And then we've also done a Black is Beautiful 5K charity run here at Jester King. We're another fundraiser on site where we donated the proceeds to Austin Justice Coalition. I'm just impressed and really, really happy for him, and highly respectful and admiring of what he did. I learned a lot of these things I was not aware of through him, and I knew he had a lot of anger. I knew as a dad especially, having to worry about my kids could either be arrested or at worst, killed because of the color of their skin. And that really resonated with me. And I'm just impressed that, how he took that anger and passion and frustration and channeled it into something that has just done an amazing amount of good in the last two years or so.
Not only from this brewery, but to see other breweries from around the country and around the world participate, it says a lot. They do recognize that there is that disparity and that there should be equity within this industry as among other industries as well.
The interesting part about Black is Beautiful was not only being a lover of stouts and having a bunch of breweries create their vision of Black is Beautiful, but it was hearing about breweries that were trying to be better about helping out Black communities and giving more back with the product that they were making, instead of it all being about profits.
Yeah, perfect.
I heard about Black is Beautiful from following Weathered Souls and Marcus's page. What took me into action that I really wanted to support, first of all, I told the brewery about it, and they were down 100%. On our first round of Black is Beautiful, we did the basic recipe. The second time, though, we changed it up and did a black IPA. It was sold out. We had people come in getting it to go. You know, we kept talking about it, kept pushing it, and then even the second round of Black is Beautiful for us, it was quick. So that makes a statement. It's not only because the beer is real good, but because we had a statement to support Marcus's initiative, and people supported what we were doing.
A lot of times we go into beer, but we don't actually go into where the actual history came from. What Marcus is doing, the initiative that he's going through, he's actually bringing that back to our table, letting us be acknowledged for what we've done, the hard work that we've put forth in this industry.
Black is Beautiful was monumental in my eyes because it was a great way to just highlight the different challenges and things that we face as a Black community, but then also as Black people in craft beer.
To be able to have all of that support was really what drove that initiative. I think people found something that they could be passionate about, something that was meaningful that they can contribute to within this beer scene, and that's what made them actually want to do it. San Antonio, city-wise, was one of the top cities that had the most breweries per area participate, and Texas was the #1 state of participants. California was #2. So to see the amount of space Black is Beautiful has been able to cover and just the overall attention that it's gotten worldwide is an amazing thing. That's good. That's gonna do well. You can only do so much. You wanna do more, but you can only do so much. And we only have so much time invested, so much manpower invested, you know, trying to make actual physical direct change within the brewing industry. My focus is the brewing industry and my family. It's not really outside of that spectrum. Now, maybe one day, if we ever get that big, then yeah, we can go ahead and expand out of beer, expand out of the beer culture. But currently, you know, the focuses are DEI, diversity, and diversity within craft beer. Those are the things that directly impact me, the things that directly impact my emotions, and so those are the things that I'm gonna primarily focus on. I kind of reached a point of what was next, right? A few years ago, I found out that my grandma used to brew and distill. My grandma is 93 years old and she used to brew and distill during Prohibition time. And then I thought about how could I give back even further? So over the course of the last year, we decided we were gonna open a second location in Charlotte, North Carolina. But within that Charlotte location, what we're gonna do is open the Harriet Baskerville incubation program, which is named after my grandma. And that incubation program is gonna be a space for BIPOC and women to be able to come in that are in the planning of opening a brewery. Because we look at where we are as an industry, the 9,000 plus breweries in the United States, the only 60 Black owned. We look at what actually makes tangible differences. And what makes tangible differences, what actually makes changes, people that can make decision making, people that have ownership, people that are producing the beer. And you figure even if I took 12 individuals in the course of the year and 4 people were to open a brewery within, say, 2 years, that's a 60% increase already in the amount of change of Black ownership within beer, or even going into women ownership. And so to make those drastic numbers, that simple amount of work to be done, I mean, we could do amazing things. Being here actually in Charlotte and seeing everything come into fruition, I guess still hasn't really hit me yet. So I'm excited, but I'm still at the point of, you know, there's work to be done. I think that's also one of the reasons that people are kind of excited to see us transplant here, you know, because of the promotion of Black is Beautiful and what we stand for. And the African American community here not having a place to feel that's theirs or welcoming type of situation. So to be able to come in and provide them a place where they can be themselves is definitely an important aspect.
Back in 1989, when I stumbled into the brewing industry, I talked to a lot of people. I tried to get people of color to come into the industry. There was no real avenue to have that happen. So now with the Harriet Baskerville Incubation Project, this is an opportunity that I never had. I was lucky, but still there was no avenue for underserved communities to even realize that this was a pathway that they could take. So the Harriet Baskerville Incubation Project is that avenue. It is something that will enable people to know about an industry that they may not have known about or ever had a chance to get into. It's a great feeling to be at this from the beginning and to see it come to fruition. And I have great expectations on how well it's going to do, because it will give people opportunities that they just never had before.
But here we are today with the official ribbon cutting and launch and check distribution from RAR. I mean, it's been a long road to kind of try to figure out how to navigate this space. You know, one of the things that we've always talked about is the lack of diversity in beer. So this is one of those things that are literally going to change the dynamic of currently what we see within the industry. I've grown to learn how important this incubation program is going to be for the dynamics of beer going forward. We're at such a pivotal point of beer, right? We're at such large ownership, such a lack of diversity for BIPOC and women. And so this space here within Charlotte is going to be able to give people an opportunity to kind of change the tide of that. I've talked about before kind of how I did what I needed to do when I launched Black is Beautiful. But again, going into that whole passion and purpose, I've realized that this is something that has definitely become my purpose. And like my boy Kobe already said, you know, the job's not done. It's more so about nurturing the next generation. It's about growing this industry. It's about seeing more individuals like myself in this industry. It's about having that like-mindedness. It's about having people wanting to grow within beer and realizing that it is part of our culture, our generation. And it's nice to know, like, my 5-year-old now, like, she can tell you, like, oh, my daddy made Black is Beautiful and it helps people and, you know, that type of thing. And so just to be able to hear her say that and understand, you know, kind of what it was about and what it's done, I mean, I think I've done my job.